The video, the view from our Sky 11 drone in Jeffersonville showing what's left of a home. Woodwork, twisted metal, carpeting, appliances, the aftermath of the massive explosion in the darkness last night. From end to end, nothing left standing. It's all leveled right to the foundation. The frightening blast sending 5 people to the hospital. Police late today saying they have life-threatening injuries. Hello, everyone, and thank you very much for being with us tonight on the WHAS 11 Night Team. I'm Doug Proffitt. Jeffersonville police clearing up one big question late today, saying no evidence of foul play, no evidence of malicious intent, as rumors were floating through the community about the blast. One thing they still can't answer, how did this happen? WHAS 11 Night Team's Clarice Shaley and photojournalist Aspen Hester are back in the neighborhood talking to neighbors who remember another home explosion there 6 years ago.
From the Sky 11 drone, the scorched remains of a Jeffersonville home explosion that's given 5 people life-threatening injuries, suffering severe burns. The emergency responders are now gone. Fencing is put up around what's left of the property on Washington Way. The home exploded just after 11:30 Wednesday night. Police say there was no foul play involved, specifically no evidence of malicious intent.
Pieces of insulation and ashes and the smell.
Next to the destroyed home, Benita Khan cleans off her mother's porch. She's concerned for the man who is the main resident of the rented home. She's known the family for years. His car now crushed.
Because he's worked so hard to have what he has. And I don't know what he's going to do, and I'm worried about him.
The foundation now exposed, debris left around what used to be a home here. Khan is just happy that the renter of this home wasn't here, and neither was his 5-year-old kid.
You know, he's a good kid. I love him. Love his little boy. He'll bounce back. He'll figure it out. He's got a lot of people praying for him, a lot of people that care about him.
So far, there's not a scratch on her mother's home. This is much different than the explosion in 2019 nearby.
The ceiling tiles fell on her in her bedroom that night, and it twisted the house.
The homes are separated by a tree line from the fatal explosion in 2019 off Assembly Road. This one was caused by a gas leak. 6 years later, a new home stands on the lot. The neighborhood is worried about the similarities and close proximity of the 2 explosions. Although the gas company Centerpoint says there are no leaks and Jeffersonville Fire continues their investigation.
My main focus is, to continue talking with neighbors, checking in on people.
Evan Stoner, City Council President, was at the scene.
That's what you do when you have an incident like this where there's some serious trauma.
Police also urging others to stop rumors about what could have happened. In Jeffersonville, Clarice Shaley, WHAS 11 Night Team, on your side.
As we showed you, the house backs right up to the scene of a deadly explosion 6 years ago. In 2019, 1 person died and 3 others were hurt on Assembly Road, after officials say gas was filling up the home for 12 hours leading up to the explosion. At the time, the company called Vectron was the company providing gas to that subdivision. That company has since merged with Centerpoint. A judge ruled in March of this year that, quote, Indiana Gas Company was not liable for the explosion because a gas cap had been removed inside the Phillips home for an unknown reason. Plaintiffs have appealed that decision.
This is a Model T moment for us at Ford. A chance to bring a new family of vehicles to the world that offer incredible technology, efficiency, space, and features.
That's Ford CEO Jim Farley speaking this week, saying the company is about to make history with electric vehicles. Louisville and Kentucky will be playing a huge role in that and the announcement. During the second quarter earnings call with investors, you heard him there, Farley said they will share their future electric vehicle strategy on August 11th in Louisville. The CEO hinting that Kentucky, with its Blue Oval battery plant down in Hardin County off I-65, will play a key role in the long-term success.
And it's a big advantage for the company. We're the first one to build it at scale. It also has the PTC. We're thankful that Congress upheld that. That's a key part of our profitability roadmap to transitioning these lower cost batteries. Can't wait to show you the product and the platform, so stay tuned.
Farley says they're going to make the announcement at the Louisville Assembly Plant, which is, of course, off I-65 at Fern Valley Road. The big date is Monday, August 11th. Tonight, President Donald Trump's self-imposed deadline is set to hit. Countries must reach trade deals with the United States or face high tariffs. Here's ABC's Alex Stone to bring us up to date on the deadline.
The new announcement coming just hours before President Trump's midnight deadline. The White House announcing this modification furthers a reciprocal tariff rate against nearly 70 countries. Earlier, the president announcing the U.S. and Mexico have an agreement to extend for 90 days a 25% tariff agreement as trade talks between the two countries continue. Late on Thursday, the White House announcing the president signed an executive order increasing the tariff on Canada to 35%. Though exempting many goods covered by the existing trade deal with Canada.
We've sent out 17 letters to countries around the world, and the rest of those countries that either do not have a deal or have a letter, they will be hearing from this administration.
This week, the president also announced a new preliminary trade deal with South Korea, both sides agreeing on a 15% tariff on South Korean goods, down from 25% that President Trump threatened. The deal includes cars and electronics. Democrats on Capitol Hill say the deals are no good and are not what the president claims them to be.
Yesterday, Trump announced a deal with South Korea, and it's very similar to the deals we saw in the past with Japan and EU. All talk, no substance, and raising costs for the average American.
India's trade minister told that country's parliament on Thursday in light of U.S. tariffs, India will take all necessary steps to secure its own interests. President Trump announced a 25% tariff on all products from India, and still there is no trade deal with China.
I believe that we have the makings of a deal.
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent telling CNBC the Chinese are tough negotiators. A panel of appeals court judges hearing arguments on Thursday voiced deep skepticism about President Trump's sweeping tariffs. A group of small businesses and states are arguing the president has overstepped his authority. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
A Jefferson County grand jury chose not to indict a Metro police officer on any charges after a deadly crash this year. In April, Officer Alyssa Beagle was responding to assist an emergency request from EMS crews when she crashed into another vehicle. The driver of the other vehicle, 61-year-old Charles Briscoe, died at the scene. Dash cam footage showing Officer Beagle weaving through traffic and intersections, all without her emergency lights or sirens on. Today, the grand jury returned a no true bill on a second-degree murder charge, meaning no charges. Determining the outcome is in the interest of justice. Metro Police say an internal investigation into Officer Beagle remains ongoing. And new tonight, the Inspector General's office is responding to LMPD's pushback on its findings. Metro Police today saying they disagreed with a report that a former LMPD officer violated policy when he shot and killed a man in 2023. You may remember the case. Metro Police called to reports of a man shooting along Frankfort Avenue in August of 2023. Body camera video showing Officer Roberto Cedeno encountered James Monte lying in an alleyway between buildings and pointing a pistol at police. Cedeno shot and killed Monte. A new report from the Inspector General's office found Cedeno gave no verbal warnings and did not try to de-escalate the situation. The report says he re-engaged the suspect without confirming an immediate threat, all in violation of LMPD policy. LMPD is disagreeing with the new report, pointing to an older report that exonerated Cedeno of any wrongdoing in the shooting. Tonight, the Inspector General's office telling WHAS11 that report was not the final report and contained an administrative error. The office is sticking behind the July report and recommends creating a training that highlights de-escalation techniques and strategies. Cedeno no longer works for LMPD and was recently charged with stalking and tampering with public records. Today, 12 teenagers graduating from an anti-violence and community beautification program near Churchill Downs. 50-50 mentoring collaboration, bringing together teenagers with community leaders to paint trash cans and mow seniors' lawns in the Taylor Berry neighborhood. The program was funded with $20,000 from Metro Louisville. The teens also learned how to make videos and took a conflict resolution class.
It gets people away from guns and drugs and stuff. It brings a positive effect. It brings smiles on people's faces.
This program came out of an idea from the Taylor Berry Neighborhood Anti-Violence Coalition, which is going into its third year. President Donald Trump has officially declared a major disaster for 23 Indiana counties. That opens up funding from FEMA for families who were affected by the flooding, tornadoes, and the high winds, the disasters in April. The Indiana State Comptroller met with local leaders in Utica, Indiana today, not far from Louisville. She promised her office would help properly manage the FEMA money coming into the river town.
The funds that you all receive will be responsible for making sure that all of the federal funds that come to you are properly accounted for.
They will be.
They will be.
You don't know how much it means to us because we want our people helped. And this is the only way we can help them.
Utica Town Council President Steve Long saying nearly 30 homes are vacant because they don't have permits to rebuild after sustaining severe damage in the April weather. Utica Town Council President Steve Long said nearly 30 homes are there because of the damage from those April storms. Well, in Kentucky, Governor Andy Beshear announcing yesterday FEMA denied individual assistance for Christian and Todd counties in western Kentucky. Other counties, including right here in Jefferson County, were already approved for that aid. The governor was also denied a hazard mitigation grant that would have helped fund long-term solutions that reduce the impact of disasters in the future. Also new tonight, Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear announcing the first medical marijuana dispensary in the state has now been approved. The Post dispensary at Beaver Dam in western Kentucky is expected to open its doors in the fall. 39 dispensaries have been planned to open across Kentucky. Beshear has also signed an executive order waiving a $25 renewal fee for patients who have their medical cards this year. A new update to a story we first told you about last week. The Metro Council tonight approving an ordinance that would require clear reinforced plastic be used instead of plywood to board up vacant buildings. It comes following the success of a pilot program. Structure fires were reduced by 63% in vacant buildings compared to this time last year. The plastic actually stopped people from getting inside. The program protected 53 buildings with clear boarding instead of the typical plywood. Only 12 of those empty buildings were breached just once and not a second time, compared to last year when there were 88.